Okay, welcome back. This is part 2 of Make Your Own Pac-Man game. Alright, so the first thing I have to do is change 2 lines. I have to change the get and the put line because I made a mistake. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. Now, it should start at y-axis 12 and go 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. So this number should be 20, not 12. So now it's 20. And the same thing with 21. The number here should be 20. So if I list this, we're going to get that. We're going to put this, and it's a 5x5 patch, and it'll be used to create animation, which you'll see shortly. The other thing that concerns me is I might have to change this 12 to a 10 because of the way this is being done. I don't want it to interfere with the maze, so let's try that really quickly instead. We're going to make this 10, and it's the same 2 lines, the get and put lines. Make that 12 a 10. And I usually count 2 pixels over because it'll corrupt the picture, but since this isn't a picture, I don't think it will matter. It's just a green patch, so I'm going to run the program, and under here we're taking a portion of this area right here and putting it in dimension A. So when I move the joystick, the patch will be applied to the current position of the ghost, and then it'll be redirected to place the ghost either to the left, to the right, up, or down. And that's where I left off. So what I want to do now is make sure this works. So I just have the X going, and I have to refer to my printout because I can see the entire program versus just this little part of it. The color computer doesn't let you scroll up and down in your list, which is a real pain in the neck, so you have to print everything out, and I do that virtually. You can see my how to use LLIST in Xroar video if you want to know how to learn how to print your programs out. So basically, we're going to go through a screen setup, then we're going to GOSUB 16, and we're going to get the dimensions for that patch, but we can only do that once, and that's at the beginning of the program. Then we're going to return to line 6. We're going to create the maze, which is just a border right now, and it's going to go on to reveal the ghost. And then it's going to have to go to the joystick routine. So, problem here is I don't think we can do it that way because I'm going to be calling this. But you know what? I think it may work. So let's edit 15, and we're going to get rid of the return because it hasn't been called to a GOSUB at this point. So what I'm going to make it do is I'm going to make it go to the joystick routine. And the joystick routine is going to start at line 25. So we're going to edit 15, and we're going to change this to a 2. And so we have go to 25. Now this go to 8 is going to the ghost graphics, so that's correct. Alright guys, I got cut off there. The recording stopped. I must have hit the wrong button. Now I'm going to have to piece this video together, but as I was saying, in piecing the video together takes forever because I have the crummiest video software that Microsoft gives you with Windows 10, and it takes a year. I don't know what its problem is, but if you try stitching videos together, you're waiting for like an hour. I wanted to avoid that, but I hit the wrong button. But what I was saying is, what happens here is that once we get to this point where it's applying the patch, I might have to make it a GOTO statement instead of GOSUB, or figure something else out, because when I move the joystick, it's going to put the patch, and then it's going to assign a number to X other than 0, and then it's going to go to the graphic and back to the joystick. So we're going to put joystick right here, and we're going to start setting that up same way as usual. And this will probably be a short video. I just want to get the ghost going, and then the next video will involve creating the maze. So I'm going to put J equals JOYSTK, and spell that right. It's just an abbreviation. J equals JOYSTK 0 in parentheses, and K equals JOYSTK 1 in parentheses. The 0 takes care of the left and right, and the 1 takes care of the up and down. You can't have one without the other. So this is joystick port 1. If you wanted port 2, you'd have to do the following setup and include J, K, L, and M, and you'd have joystick 2 and 3, which I never ever used. I don't know why you would use that, but if you have a real color computer, I could see you could use it. But I think this emulator only supports one joystick. I don't know, but we're just using this one. So the main program is going to revolve around this, and so I have to say that if J equals 63 or J equals 0, so literally going to the right or the left, then, and this is going to change once we involve the maze, but for right, because we're going to have to check for a condition, but we're not doing that right now. We're just trying to get this ghost to move, and then we're going to be directed to 20, and we're going to go through the patch. Then we're going to go to 8, and I'm going to take a look at this one more time. Now we're going to see what does 15 do. Once we get to 15, we're going to go back to the joystick. So I don't see any problems with this yet. If K equals 63 or K equals 0, that would literally mean down or up. When you go up, you minus. When you go down, you plus. Same with right and left. Then we're just going to put sound 5 because we don't have a patch for that yet. So this should be it. Now 30 will go to 25, and it will keep checking to see if the joystick is touched. And so the ghost moves to the left, to the right. If we press up or down, we get a noise. The problem is we're getting overlap. We're getting overlap. So I honestly, it's going to 20. We're going to run this, list it. Wow, I don't know why this isn't working. That should work. Well, we're going to 8. We're getting our values, otherwise it wouldn't move. But something's not quite right. Oh yeah, big problem here. It's putting the patch in the wrong place. So we have the right size patch, but it's putting it below the ghost, not on top of the ghost. This is called debugging, you guys. So I started at 2, 2, and I went to 10, 12, was it? So I think that's fixed now. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 is 5 across, and then 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I guess this should be a 10 as well. Let me check against my printout. Yeah, it is actually 12 because of the 0. So we're starting at 2, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Why is this not matching? The lowest Y that I have on my ghost is 10. So I don't know where I'm getting this 12 from. So we're going to edit 21, and this is why I have a printout. So it's a 5x5 box. List. Our get is starting at 12, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 2. Okay, so this should work now. And it does. Okay. Our ghost, we have contact, okay? We're able to move our ghost perfectly. The patch is working, except for he's going way too slow. So, okay, apparently today's not my day because for a second time I closed the video window. And because I'm trying to look at this list here, and I keep closing the video window, which makes the video stop, and now I have to piece 3 videos together that should have been 1 video. And I don't even know what I was looking for here. I'm looking for the line that deals with the X value, and it's going to be line number 22. So without closing the video window for a 4th time or a 3rd time, we're going to edit line number 22, and we're not going to do 2, we're going to make this 10. So that'll cover 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, that'll cover 5 pixels. So as I move the ghost, it will go a full ghost length instead of only 2. And as you can see here, I'm only off by 1 pixel. You can't get any better than that. Actually, I could suck this in, the border in 1 pixel to make it perfectly even, but I'm not going to do that right now. And the reason being is that I don't know what the maze is going to look like. So we're going to edit 23 now and do the same thing for the negative X coordinate. We're going to change this to a 10, and we're going to list that line over. We're going to edit that line, make sure, edit 23, make sure there's no spaces, run this again. Now our ghost, okay, this is a good speed for a video game. Ghost is going back and forth at a good clip. There's a ton of I wouldn't say a ton of distortion, but there's literally nothing I can do about it. This computer is, it's just the way this computer is. I think if you move it like this, you're good. But if you hold it down, this is the best I can do in BASIC. So now we have full control of the ghost from left to right, as I promised. And now I cannot reduce this window or it'll close again. So I'm going to look at my list and see what we have to do to get it to go up and down. Alright, so we're safe here. We already have those statements. We're going to have to figure out we're going to need a separate statement for Y. So we're going to have to recreate this entire thing area here. So how many numbers? You just count. How many lines? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines. So if we make 25 30, we should have 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 25, 26, 27, 5 lines to work with. So that's what we'll do. We'll renumber as line 30 number 25, and you put the new line first, the start line, and then the increment. Now that's going to give me a space in here beginning at 25, and we're going to put our put Y patch. The 26 is going to mirror this, but here is going to be Y commands. So we're going to literally copy line 21, put 2 plus X, comma 2 plus Y, 2, 10 plus X, comma 10 plus Y, comma A, it's the same array, and we're going to PSET it. And so we want these X and Y variables in there so that it matches whether we're moving it up or down. And then we're going to simply put if K equals 63, then Y equals Y plus 10. Line 28 is if K equals 0, then Y equals Y minus 10. So it's the same thing here. 29 is going to go to 8 back to the graphic. And so now we should be able to move this guy anywhere, except we still have that sound. So I left that there as a placeholder. So we're going to edit line number 34. And instead of going to 20, we're going to kill this sound part. It's going to then, you don't even have to put GOTO. You just put then 25. GOTO is just an added extra thing. You could just put then instead. And if we list 25, it is our Y patch, so it's the correct location. And now we have total control over this sprite with hardly any effort. There's now we can go anywhere we want on the screen in 5 pixel increments, and we're looking great. All we have to do next time is make the maze, and I will do that next time. I'm not going to do that now. I'm way too tired. So if I renumber this program, let's see, list 0, there's nothing at 0. So if I renumber this program in increments of 1, it'll give us a total of 35 lines. So in 35 lines of BASIC, you can get complete control over over the ghost sprite of PAC-MAN. 35 lines is not bad to do this. Now I remember when I was a kid copying these long programs out of magazines, or they used to have them at school where you could find programs. They're just ridiculous how long they were, and half the time they didn't work. How many people went through that, where you typed out this huge program you found in a book somewhere and you ran the program and it didn't work, and you tried fixing it and writing it over and it still didn't work? Well, look, and they didn't know too much, I'll tell you that, back then. Because if I can do this with 35 lines of BASIC, they should go back to programming school. and because I don't know what they were doing, you know. And why this isn't mentioned in any of the TRS-80 books that come with the computer, I do not know. The only reason being that I can think of is that they only set you up. It would be even less lines. It would probably be half of this, or at least a few lines less if they actually had a sprite feature. But this computer doesn't support sprites in BASIC. So they gave you a half of a sprite feature. They gave you get input, which is just half of the story. So the reason you have to go through all this menagerie, if that's a word, is because you have to make your own sprite function. And so this is literally an application for a TRS-80 sprite function. At least they gave us half of it, so we have to thank them for that. But the rest was up to you. And honestly, when this came out in 1982, video games were not that popular at the time. So they were just dawning in that period, and I don't think it was a huge concern of theirs that you would be able that you that their customers or their consumers um, I don't think it was in. Now I'm getting lost in my words here, but you know what I'm getting at. It wasn't a main concern of theirs that their users should be able to create video games. Games, maybe text games, things that they went over in the book, but not action video games. It really wasn't incorporated until much later on in computing, unless you had a PC or some other type of home computer like the Atari computer or the Commodore that supported video games in a major way with their sound chips, etc., and their text and their extended memory and whatever. So I'm just going to stop here. I'm going to leave you with this. You can copy it, whatever. Um, Follow me as I go along. Maybe you already know how to do this, but the next lesson is going to be on making the maze, and we are going to create a maze the character is going to navigate through. And now, last time I used boundaries. If I can spell boundaries, Bondaries, okay? The problem with setting boundaries is it takes forever. Now, I have to do that in my video game that I'm creating because it's not an action game. So it's much easier to do. It still takes a long time. For that application, it works good. But for this application, I'm going to try using something else called PMODE. And whether or not this is going to be successful, we're going to find out in our next video. And that is how we're going to create the maze that our ghost cannot pass over or through the walls. Okay, because when we start creating a maze, like I'll see if I can, we'll pretend this is a maze here. Now, and our ghost is on this side of the wall. We don't want him going through the wall, but we want him to be able to go around the wall. And if you watch my other video, I set boundaries, but it's not going to be as effective. What I'm going to try to do is use PMODE, and what PMODE does is that it checks to see what color a pixel is and whether or not that pixel is a certain color determines what happens next. And I can't explain it. I'll have to show it to you. And I wish I could show it to you today, but I can't. We're going to have to wait until I get more time. But at least for now, you can do this with your ghost. And there's more coming, and we'll cover that next time. And, I'm sure there'll be some obstacles to get through, like with this, but we should be fine. I'm not really worried about it. this seems to be working pretty good. So without further ado, that's the end of this video. Thank you for watching. Now I just have to stitch it together, and it'll probably take an hour, so you won't see this video until later on, but that's just fine. So take care.